Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video series where we are covering the doshas of the planets. And we are covering the planets in the usual weekday order. And in the previous two videos of the series, we have covered the sun and the moon. And today we'll be looking at the doshas that are related to Mars. Okay. And if you want more clarity on this, on how we are deciphering the sutra that is related to the doshas, please refer to the first video of the series where I've covered the Kalpurush chart in details regarding the houses, the owners, and the karakas. Okay, so that video is the video of the sun, right? So the sutra is that if any enemy planet is placed in the house of the planet that rules the Kalpurush chart, then you get a affliction or a dosha related to that ruler of the house. Okay, so if you look at Mars, Mars rules the first house and the eighth house of the Kalpurush chart, right? And the enemies of Mars are of course Mercury as well as Ketu. Okay, so Mercury is the number one enemy of the Mars, but I've seen in certain cases that Ketu also behaves, in as an enemy to Mars. Okay, so if you have Mercury or Ketu placed in the first house or the eighth house, then it causes a dosha, and that is known as the Rinn of your relatives. Okay, if it gives, because Mercury represents your relationships, right? Your relatives, not your relationships, your relatives. So it is causing a dosha in terms of those, in terms of those relatives. Okay. So it is a debt that you have to pay towards your relatives. And what problems does it cause? Okay. It causes problems with rash decisions. It causes problems with indecisions. It causes blunders when it comes to decision making. Remember, I'm using the word blunders, not errors. Okay. And these are huge mistakes that may cost a lot, and that may cost your mental peace. Okay. It causes problems to the extent that your relatives may conspire against you, that your relatives may put cases against you. For example, say you have a joint property and one of your relatives does not want to part with that, with his or her share, and because you have asked for your share, so they have put a case on that, and all of a sudden everything stops and you are caught in a legal soup all of a sudden. Okay, so I've seen Mercury placed in the first house being very, very dangerous for the father's health, particularly in the 32nd year. Okay. And Ketu placed in the eighth house is always going to give you problems with regards to properties. Even if you may have a lot of property inherited from your ancestors, or you may have a lot of property gifted to you, but you will not be able to enjoy it because Ketu is the cutter that cuts away certain significations of the house wherever it is placed. Okay. Similarly, Ketu in the first house gives problems related to rash decisions or indecisions. Okay. And Mercury in the first house also gives you problems with immunity. Okay, remember Mars rules the immune system. Okay, Mars rules the immune system. So, if you have Mercury or Ketu placed in the first house or the eighth house, it gives problems of low immunity. Okay, I've seen people having, Ketu in the first house being very, very headstrong. And Ketu is the Karaka for mistakes. So, they cause a lot of intentional as well as unintentional mistakes whenever it comes to getting work done. Okay. And other symptoms could include, not being available at family functions. They find it very, very difficult to intermix with your relatives, with your extended family, with your cousins. Okay. And they also, these people, I've seen them spoiling their family functions. For example, say you are at a family wedding and then all of a sudden some cousin comes drunk and then creates a huge scene and he or she has to be escorted out. Okay. So that can cause a lot of embarrassment to the entire family or to the guests who have come there for attending the wedding. Okay, so these are the doshas that are related to Mars, and what are the remedies? Okay, so the first remedy that you must do is you must apply a chandan tilak on your head every morning. That is the first thing you must do after bath. Okay, have a plate of chandan and then grind that chandan wood on that plate and then put a tilak on your forehead but when you put the tilak, it should always be put with your middle finger. Okay, use your middle finger to apply the tilak on your forehead. Okay, if you cannot find that sandalwood, please use natural sandalwood powder that is easily available online, and make a tilak out of it and place it on your forehead with this finger. Okay. Then the other remedy is to feed dogs. Okay, every Sunday make it a habit of feeding dogs with raw meat. Okay, or raw fish, whatever you can find, but it should be some non-vegetarian food. That is going to, that is going to keep your Ketu in balance. Okay. Thirdly, spend time with nature. Spend at least 15 minutes every day exercising, so that you are increasing your lung capacity. Remember, Mercury rules the air sign of Gemini, and Mercury causes some kind of infection to the lungs. So there are various techniques to increase your lung capacity, like Kapalbhati, like pranayam, whatever form of pranayam you may decide to follow. So those exercises are very, very important. Okay. And finally, make it a habit of pouring some amount of milk over a neem tree every Tuesday evening. Okay, so this is a remedy from the Lal Kitab, and I've recommended this remedy to a lot of people, and they have seen a lot of improvements in their relationships, in their family affairs. Okay, every Tuesday, make it a habit of pouring some amount of milk on a neem tree. Okay, so that's it from me in this video. I hope it has created some amount of value in your life. And if it has, please subscribe to the channel, like the content, and share it with your friends and family if you think this video is going to help them as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video of the series, where we'll be covering the planet Mercury. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.